The November rain felt like ice against my face as I pressed myself against the cold brick wall of Riverside Funeral Home. Through the stained glass window, I could see the warm glow of candles and the black-clad mourners filling the pews. My grandmother's casket sat at the front, surrounded by white roses, her favorite. But I couldn't be there. I heard my father's voice drifting through the cracked window. Sophie is somewhere in Europe backpacking or whatever she calls it these days. You know how she's always running from responsibility. My fingernails dug into my palms. I had driven 14 hours straight from Chicago when I heard about Grandma Rose's passing, only to be told by the funeral director, politely but firmly, that I wasn't on the list. My own grandmother's funeral. And I wasn't on the list. But what truly froze my blood wasn't being barred from entry. It was what I saw next. A woman sat in the front row, in my spot, wearing a black dress identical to the one I'd worn to every family funeral since I was 16. Her hair was dyed the same shade of auburn as mine, pulled back in the same low bun I always wore. And when she turned her head slightly to dab at her eyes with a handkerchief, I saw it, even my distinctive birthmark painted onto her neck. She was crying perfectly. Not too much. Not too little. The grieving granddaughter performed to perfection. Poor Sophia, I heard my Aunt Linda whisper. She and Rose were so close. She must be devastated wherever she is. The actress nodded, shoulders shaking with rehearsed sobs. I pulled out my phone, fingers numb from the cold, and began recording through the window. Whatever sick game my family was playing, I was going to document every second of it. The service continued with readings and hymns. My Uncle Peter delivered a glowing eulogy, painting our family as one big happy unit, conveniently leaving out how they'd systematically pushed me out over the past 5 years. My cousin Melissa sang Amazing Grace off-key as always. And through it all, the fake Sophia sat there playing my role. When the service ended and the mourners began filing out for the burial, I slipped around to the back entrance. I knew this building. Grandma Rose had been on the funeral home's board for 20 years. I'd spent countless afternoons here with her, discussing life and death over tea in the director's office. The side door was unlocked. Bless Mrs. Chin, the cleaning lady who always worked Saturdays. I slipped inside, climbed the back stairs, and settled in the second-floor viewing room overlooking the chapel. From there, I could see everything without being seen. The burial was private, family only. I watched them load the casket into the hearse, watched the actress climb into the family limousine with my parents, watched them drive away to bury my grandmother without me. But I knew what came next. The will reading. It was scheduled for 4 p.m. in the funeral home's conference room. Grandma Rose had been meticulous about her final wishes, insisting the reading happen immediately after the burial. No time for the vultures to scheme, she'd always said with a wink. So I waited in my hiding spot, surviving on vending machine coffee and the rage burning in my chest. At 3:45 they all filed back inside, shaking rain from their umbrellas. The actress was still there, still pretending to be me, now with my mother's arm wrapped around her shoulders. This is so hard, the fake Sophia said in a voice nothing like mine. I just can't believe she's gone. We're all here for you, sweetheart, my mother cooed. Grandma Rose would want you to be strong. I bit my tongue hard enough to taste blood. At exactly 4 o'clock, Attorney Maxwell Crawford entered, silver briefcase in one hand, a sealed box in the other. He had been Grandma Rose's lawyer for 40 years. The sight of him made my eyes sting with unshed tears. Please everyone have a seat, he said, his deep voice filling the room. I know this is a difficult day, but Rose was very specific about her wishes. They settled around the conference table, my parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and the actress. From my vantage point above I could see everything. Crawford set down his case and the mysterious box, then pulled out a thick manila envelope. Before we begin, he said, I must inform you that Rose left very specific instructions for this reading. He placed a tablet on the table. She requested that we begin with a video message she recorded 6 months ago. My father shifted uncomfortably. Is that really necessary, Maxwell? We're all very emotional. I'm afraid it isn't optional, Thomas, Mr. Crawford said firmly. Rose's instructions were clear. Any deviation would result in the immediate dissolution of all inheritances, with assets transferring to her chosen charities. That shut him up. Crawford tapped the tablet. My grandmother's face appeared on screen. My heart clenched. She looked thinner than I remembered, but her eyes still carried that sharp intelligence. The kind that always saw through everyone's nonsense. "Hello, my darlings," Grandma Rose's voice filled the room. "If you're watching this, then I'm gone. And you're here for the reading of my will. But before we get to who gets what, there's something more important. I need to verify that my granddaughter, Sophia Marie Bennett, is actually present." The actress straightened, preparing for her big moment. My mother patted her hand. "You see," Grandma Rose continued, "I've become aware of certain behaviors in this family. Attempts to isolate Sophia, to turn her into the black sheep, to push her out of her rightful place. I've watched it happen." I stayed silent, gathering evidence, waiting. The room was still. "So before we proceed, I need to make absolutely certain the real Sophia is here. Maxwell, please open the box." Crawford lifted the sealed box and opened it. Inside were photographs, DNA test kits, and another sealed envelope. "First," Grandma Rose said, "I'd like Sophia to tell everyone about the song I used to sing to her when she was little, the one I made up for her nightmares." The actress's face went pale. She stammered, I don't." "It's okay, sweetheart," my father cut in quickly. "You're emotional. It was so long ago." "No," Grandma Rose's voice snapped. "Sophia would never forget the butterfly's lullaby. She made me sing it every night until she was 12. She even sang it back to me when I was in the hospital last year." The actress was sweating now, her perfect makeup cracking. "Second," Rose pressed on, "please have Sophia show everyone the scar on her left palm. The one she got at 8, saving that injured cardinal in my garden. We never told her parents because she was supposed to be at piano practice." The actress clutched her hands together. "From my perch I saw her palms, unmarked. And finally," Grandma Rose's gaze bore into the camera, "I'd like Sophia to repeat the last words I ever whispered to her." The room was silent. The actress looked ready to bolt. My parents exchanged panicked glances. "I'm waiting," Grandma Rose said. "Or perhaps the real Sophia isn't there at all. Perhaps someone thought they could fool me even in death." "Mom, this is," Uncle Peter began. "If the woman claiming to be Sophia cannot answer," Rose interrupted coldly, "please proceed with Protocol B." Crawford reached for his phone. "Wait." I stepped out of the shadows and into the doorway. "I'm here, Grandma. I'm here." Every head snapped toward me. The actress gasped. My mother went white as a sheet. "The butterfly's lullaby," I said, voice shaking but steady. "You sang it in French because you said butterflies spoke all languages. Petit papillon, dans le jardin, chantez les fleurs jusqu'au matin." I held up my left palm, revealing the curved scar. "The cardinal lived. We released it 2 weeks later, together." And then, locking eyes with the screen, I whispered, "And the last thing you said to me when everyone thought you were asleep was, 'The truth always finds its wings. My little butterfly, be ready to fly when it does.'" Mr. Crawford smiled, a real smile, the first I'd seen all day. "Miss Bennett," he said, "we've been expecting you." "What the hell is this?" my father roared, springing to his feet. "Sophia, you're supposed to be in Europe." "Conveniently out of reach," I finished for him. "Unable to make it back in time." I turned to the actress, shrinking into her chair. "Who is she, Dad? How much did you pay her to be me?" "This is ridiculous," my mother snapped, though her voice trembled. You wanted Grandma Rose's money," I said flatly. "And you knew she'd never leave it to you. She knew how you treated me. So you hired a replacement. A grieving granddaughter who would play the part and then, what? Sign over her inheritance to you." Mr. Crawford cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should continue with the video." The screen unfroze and Grandma Rose smiled. A sharp, knowing smile. "Oh, there's my real granddaughter. Hello, my little butterfly. I'm so sorry for what you've had to endure. But don't worry. We're about to make it right." She leaned forward slightly. "You see, family, I've known about your schemes for quite some time. The birthday parties Sophia wasn't invited to, by mistake. The family vacation she somehow never heard about. The way you've tried to paint her as unstable, irresponsible, a disappointment. All because she refused to fall in line with your expectations." "Mother, this is," Aunt Linda began. "Shut up, Linda," Grandma Rose snapped. "I'm dead. The least you can do is let me finish." She composed herself. "Where was I? Ah yes, your conspiracy against my granddaughter. Well, I have news for you. Every text. Every email. Every nasty little plan. I have copies of everything, including the messages from last week about hiring an actress for my funeral. The room erupted. Everyone talked at once, accusing each other, denying involvement. The actress tried to slip out, but Mr. Crawford stepped in front of the door. Enough. Grandma Rose's voice boomed from the speakers. The room fell silent. Here's what's going to happen. Sophia, my darling, you inherit everything. The house, the investments, the company shares. All of it. Roughly $14 million last I checked. I sank into an empty chair, my legs suddenly too weak to hold me. As for the rest of you, Grandma Rose's voice turned cold, you get exactly what you deserve. Nothing. Well, not entirely nothing. I've left each of you something special. Mr. Crawford pulled out a series of envelopes, each labeled with a name. Thomas, my son, you get the photo album documenting every lie you told about Sophia, including the screenshots where you bragged about managing her out of the family. Share them with your colleagues at the firm. I'm sure they'll find them illuminating. Linda, darling daughter, you get the recording of you trying to convince Dr. Patterson to declare Sophia mentally unfit. He refused, by the way, and was quite disturbed by your request. Peter, you get the email chain where you tried to have Sophia arrested for stealing from the family business. A business she never even had access to. And so on and so forth. Each of you receives a carefully documented record of your cruelty. Consider it my final gift, the truth preserved forever. The family ripped open their envelopes, faces paling with each revealed document. Now, Grandma Rose continued, you have two choices. Accept this quietly and keep whatever dignity you have left. Or contest the will, at which point all of these documents become public record. I have also arranged for them to be sent to your employers, your social circles, and yes, the media. I think the headline, Prominent Family Hires Actress to Replace Granddaughter at Funeral, would trend quite nicely, don't you? My father crumpled the photos in his hands. She can't do this. We're her children. You stopped being my children the day you conspired against my granddaughter, Grandma Rose said firmly. Family isn't about blood. It's about love, loyalty, and respect. You showed none of those things. The video ended. Mr. Crawford looked at me. Miss Bennet, your grandmother left one more thing. A personal message to be viewed privately when you're ready. I nodded, unable to speak. As for the rest of you, Mr. Crawford said, gathering his papers, you have 24 hours to decide. Contest the will or accept it quietly. I'd advise the latter. Rose was very thorough in her preparations. The actress finally spoke. What about me? I didn't know. They told me it was a prank, that Sophie was in on it. You can discuss that with them, Mr. Crawford said dismissively. I suggest you get your payment up front. One by one my family filed out, some in tears, others in rage, all defeated. My mother paused at the door, glancing back at me. Sophia, we only wanted. Don't, I said quietly. Just, don't. When they were gone, Mr. Crawford handed me a small USB drive. Your grandmother's personal message. She also wanted me to give you this. He opened a small jewelry box. Inside was Grandma Rose's butterfly brooch, the one she'd worn every day since Grandpa died. Art Deco with sapphire wings and tiny diamonds. I had always admired it. She wanted you to know, Crawford said gently, that she never doubted you. Not for a moment. And she was proud of the woman you became, despite everything they tried to do to you. I pinned the brooch to my rain-dampened dress, right over my heart. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Maxwell, please. We'll meet next week to review the details of your inheritance. It's substantial. Rose had very specific wishes for how you should use some of it. But for now, go home. Rest. Grieve properly. As I left the funeral home, I passed the actress smoking by the dumpsters. Her fake birthmark had smudged, her rented dress hung askew. I really am sorry, she said. They told me you were estranged, that you'd abandoned the family. They made it sound like I was helping. I studied her for a moment. What's your name? Your real name? Jessica. I'm an actress. Obviously not a very good one, apparently. No, I agreed. But good enough to fool them. That's something. I pulled out my wallet and handed her a card. I'm going to need a personal assistant. Someone detail-oriented who can play different roles when needed. Interested? Her eyes widened. Are you serious? My grandmother always said, the best revenge is success. I've got $14 million and a list of charities my family hates. I could use some help spending it, creatively. Jessica grinned. When do I start? Monday. And Jessica, come as yourself this time. As I drove away from the funeral home, the rain finally stopped. A small blue butterfly landed on my windshield wiper, resting for a moment before flying away. I could almost hear Grandma Rose's voice. Truth always finds its wings, little butterfly. Be ready to fly when it does. Thanks, Grandma, I whispered. I'm ready to fly. The USB drive sat in my pocket waiting. I would watch her message later, in private with a cup of her favorite tea and the photo album I had hidden away. The real one. The one full of genuine memories of a grandmother who saw me for who I truly was. For now I had a new life to plan.